So just demonstrating the setup I've created for my 1958 Logan Model lathe. I have a half horsepower 3-phase motor here made by Deal, which was apparently a division of the Singer company. It's a 220 3-phase, kind of small motor, but it gets the job done. I chose this ATO VFD phase converter that I got off of Amazon, but because it's IP20 or so, I needed to put it in an enclosure to protect it from shavings and everything else in the shop. So I ended up following the instructions in the manual regarding clearances and ended up with quite a large box, probably larger than entirely necessary. I mounted it on these angle irons that are then mounted in this live edge piece of pine here, probably world's only live edge VFD mount, but I do what I can. So this is wired in such a way that the single phase 220 comes in right here, and then the 3-phase 220 3 legs and the ground go out to the motor. When I opened up the electrical box on the motor, I found that the leads on the motor itself were quite bad. Someone had spliced in and done a pretty crappy job. I ended up completely disassembling the motor in order to graft on some new leads. And then in order to give myself more space to do the connections, I grafted on this waterproof outdoor electric box. So that ended up with a much nicer result than I was initially expecting. To control it, I have taken this original on-off switch, the forward reverse switch, which originally would have had full 223 phase going in and full 223 phase coming out, and the switch itself just reverses the legs. If you know anything about 3-phase motors, if you want to reverse them, all you do is switch 2 of the leads. For this, I have modified it, or adapted it rather, to take in low voltage input control wiring, just using this thermostat wiring. And what it does is just programs so that when it is in the forward setting, it sends a digital signal to turn it on running forward, and it's in a reverse, it does what you would expect a reverse. The one thing that's not shown here yet is that I have ordered an emergency off switch that, when activated, will just turn the whole thing off. So the idea would be putting a emergency switch on the front of the lathe that I can just whack with my knee. If needed, then we'll turn it off until it is reset. So that should be coming tomorrow. But here's a little demo. When I said I'm going to turn it on to go forward, and as expected, ramps up to 60 hertz, about 5 seconds. That's a user setting. It's running clockwise. So I turn it off, pretty quickly ramps down to 0, and I'm putting it in reverse. It runs in reverse as designed. So pretty happy with that. Set it all up and have it actually running. Eventually I'll clean up these wiring. These are just Wago nuts connecting to low voltage wiring for the signal wires. Alright, fast forward a few days here. I've got everything all set up. So starting with the unit itself back here. It sits nicely back here. Kind of refrigerator size, but gets the job done. Open this up one-handed here. Looks similar to when we last saw it, but I installed the DIN rail and 3D printed these little custom mounts for Wago nuts to clean that up a little bit, but otherwise looks about the same. Close that up. Okay, so we have the switch which you saw before. The only difference now is that I did ultimately wire in this emergency stop, which I'll demonstrate in just a second. I custom designed and printed this backer for it that has some embedded magnets. Unfortunately, the magnets are not really strong enough to hold it a little bit, but made a little bit more. The idea being like a magnet mounted there or something. But that can come later. It is running well. I will do a quick demo here again, one-handed to the extent that I can. Gearing is set up for 32 teeth. I have all the other gears that I managed to obtain off of eBay and Craigslist. The motor is set up for the higher speed right now with regards to the pulley. But I'll give it a go here, give it a whirl. So turn it on. Runs as expected. Emergency stop switch. Stops it very quickly. You have to turn it to release it, but good safety feature is it will not turn back on even though it's set to. You have to do it again, which is good. And I don't do too much here, one-handed, in the idea of, or in the interest of being safe, but we will engage the gears here. Gears work. Got to keep a close eye on it so it doesn't crash. Here's the other way. Again, I can, if there's something urgent, I can just stop it. It does run in reverse, no problem. Not sure the use cases where you would run in reverse because the risk is that the chuck would unscrew. So I'm not sure how often you want to be doing that. Someone in the comments could maybe tell me, because even then it just unscrewed a little bit. I would not want this thing to come flying off uncontrolled. It would be very bad. But last little bit I did was wire the inline switch here, a 220 switch. Turn the whole unit off and on so it's not running all the time. But all in all, pretty happy with it. The only thing left I might do with the VFD would be to wire in a potentiometer, or potentially just a simple on-off light so I can see when it's on and off, so I don't forget to turn it off. But all in all, very happy with this. So let's see what it is that I can do with it. Thank you for watching. That's my story. Hope you liked it.